Valenti, and we have an absolute ton of stuff to cover today. We're going to cover a lot. We're going to cover Trump slamming Zelenskyy for not recognizing Crimea as Russian territory. Granted, Russia fucking illegally annexed and invaded Crimea. We're going to talk about the Dow. The Dow just had the worst April since 1932. The U.S. economy is literally headed into a worse position than it was during the Great Depression. Great Depression 2, Electric Boogaloo just hit. We're going to cover that. They hit the second tower. The value of the U.S. dollar is plummeting, and it may get replaced by something, who knows, maybe even like the Chinese fucking yen. We're going to cover a 4-year-old girl in New York City who had to face an immigration judge without representation and without her parents. I know that sounds dystopian, but it's real. There's a 4-year-old girl. This is all because Trump cut like $200 million to a program that provides representation for unaccompanied minors. And so now the Trump regime is deporting infants. We've reached that. We're going to talk about RFK's new plan to make a list of all the autistic people in the United States by illegally accessing your private medical records. That's real. We've also got India and Pakistan are in a bit of a feud over Kashmir. What else is new? And then we're going to cover the potential new Filipino Pope. We're going to cover all that. But those are going to be in all different videos, very short, different videos, trying out something new. So make sure you like, comment, subscribe, and hit that fucking notification bell so you can be here when each one of those videos drop. Also, I film these videos live. Hit the notification bell and you can be part of the chat. This is real independent media, okay? If you want to help, because this is what real independent media looks like. It looks like a fucking douchebag covered in sweat, straight out of the gym with a Logitech camera, a dog next to him, and a cat in the shit box scraping. Okay? If you want to help me financially, there's a couple of ways you can do it. You can become a member here on YouTube for $5. Huge shout out to my members. You could become a patron on Patreon for $5. Huge shout out to my patrons. You could buy some of this dope-ass Valenti Videos merch, and you could use that 40% off discount on Ground News. But without further ado, we're going to dive right into the first segment here, which is going to be for this YouTube video, which is about Donald Trump slamming Volodymyr Zelenskyy on fucking Truth Social for doing the thing that any leader would do, which is not recognize their own territory as the foreign invader's territory. Now, I know. Listen, long story short, Russia invaded Crimea and annexed it in 2014 when Barack Obama was the president. Some of you may be too young to know this, but the whole explanation from Russia, it's bullshit, is that there's a population of Russian-speaking people in Crimea and they're being discriminated against. And those people want to be Russian, and we need to give them the right to self-determination and choose what they want to be, so we're going to fucking invade. That's what their excuse was. It's very reminiscent of what Trump wants to do with Greenland, where they're like, oh, the Greenlanders want to be American. Fuck, they speak English. I mean, why don't we give them the right to choose their own future by fucking invading them? Trump and Putin, same fucking person, different sides of the coin. One of them's Russian, one of them's a ruble, and the other one's a penny. But anyway, we're gonna dive right in here. Let's read his Truth Social post. Now, as you know, I'm an actor, so let's get into this. Ukrainian President Volodymyr Zelenskyy is boasting on the front page of the Wall Street Journal that Ukraine will not legally recognize the occupation of Crimea. There's nothing to talk about here, end quote. This statement is very harmful to the peace negotiations with Russia in that Crimea was lost years ago under the auspices of President Barack Hussein Obama and is not even a point of discussion. Nobody is asking Zelenskyy to recognize Crimea as Russian territory, but if he wants Crimea, and also this is a lie, nobody's asking Crimea. There were like 7 points laid out by the Russians, but they said that you need to do this in order for us to accept a peace deal, and one of them was that Ukraine recognizes Crimea as Russian territory, so he's wrong. Putin is asking this. Nobody is asking Zelenskyy to recognize Crimea as Russian territory, but if he wants Crimea, why didn't they fight for it 11 years ago when it was handed over to Russia without a shot being fired? This is also a lie, without a shot being fired. Around between 3,000 and 5,000 people died during the annexation of Crimea because, yes, the Ukrainians tried to defend their fucking land. So, yeah, I don't know why he's lying about that. These, like, it makes no sense to lie about something that is so easily fucking disproven. Like, you could just do it yourself. Go onto Google and be like, how many people died during the annexation of Crimea? It'll say between 3,000 and 5,000. The area also houses for many years the, quote, Obama handover. Major Russian submarine bases. It's inflammatory statements like Zelensky's that makes it so difficult to settle this war. But Donnie, you said you would have this war settled on day one. Within 24 hours. That's what you said.
Oh, isn't it difficult to end a war when an authoritarian dictator like Vladimir Putin decides that he wants a fucking independent sovereign nation like Ukraine?
Fuck you. You're an idiot. No shit, it's fucking hard to settle this war. War is hell. You can't just fucking win the presidency an ocean away and go, well, now that I'm president, they'll stop fighting. The kids will stop bickering. Brother, you're a fat orange loser. Putin doesn't fear you. Putin thinks you're a fucking idiot, which you are. Brother, you understand that the shit that he's doing, Trump, the shit that Trump is doing would be more easily explainable if he was a Russian spy. He's not a Russian spy, but if he was, I'd be like, oh, okay, that tracks. He's not. He's doing this shit, and he's not even a Russian. He's a fucking moron. Anyway. Whew. It makes it so difficult to settle this war. He has nothing to boast about. The situation for Ukraine is dire. He can have peace with a capital P, or he can fight for another 3 years before losing the whole country with a capital C. I have nothing to do with Russia, but have very much to do with wanting to save, on average, 5,000 Russian and Ukrainian soldiers a week who are dying for no reason whatsoever. What I do find funny about this is that he is right. Around 5,000 Russian and Ukrainian soldiers combined, like 5,000 total, are dying per week. And yet, he continues to say that there are millions of bodies, that the millions of people have died. Even his own math doesn't track. But he can't do math. He's a dumbass. Just like the rest of this fucking administration. Just like 5,000 Russian and Ukrainian soldiers a week who are dying for no reason whatsoever. The statement made by Zelenskyy today will do nothing but prolong the killing field. And nobody wants that. We are very close to a deal with a capital D, but the man with no cards to play should now finally get it done! I look forward to being able to help Ukraine and Russia to get out of this complete with a capital C and total with a capital D mess that would have never started if I were president. This is just the ramblings of a fucking madman. Can you believe that there are tens of millions of people in this nation who read that shit and go, God damn, our president is so brave. Our perfect and humble leader, our honorable president, Donald John Trump. He's so right. He's so right. Motherfucker, what are you talking about? No shit, Zelensky's not going to recognize Crimea, a former Ukrainian territory that was illegally annexed and invaded by the Russian military. No shit, he's not recognizing that as Russian territory. That's the final nail in the fucking coffin. I would expect you, Donnie, to do the same thing if the fucking Canadians invaded, what's the fucking most northern, Michigan. If the fucking Canadians invaded Michigan, right? And this happened in 2014, right? And this whole time it's been Canadian. And Trump was like, listen, that's Canada now. We've only got 49 states. Everyone and their mother would call him a baby back bitch. They'd be like, take it back. That was ours. Take it back. But, oh, Jesus Christ. Jesus, ever-loving fuck. So we're going to cover CNN's article on this because it digs into a little bit of Marco Rubio. Trump slams Zelenskyy for refusing to recognize Russian control of Crimea. And you know that because you just read his post on Truth Social. President Donald Trump slammed Ukraine President Volodymyr Zelenskyy on Wednesday for his comments that Ukraine won't recognize Russian control of Crimea, calling the remarks, quote, very harmful to the peace negotiations with Russia. Mind you, Russia violated the peace deal like 27 times already. And then they violated it again on Easter that, like, bombed the ever-loving fuck out of Ukraine. Like, brother, there is no peace deal. And that's exactly what Zelenskyy was telling you in the Oval Office when you and fucking JD bombarded him with this fucking staged, orchestrated, pre-written attack on him. You didn't even say thank you, which was all designed to pull attention away from the fake Epstein report you released like 2 days ago. You guys probably don't even remember this, dude. Like, right before Trump met with Zelenskyy with JD and they, like, bullied him in the Oval Office, that was when the Trump regime released, like, a fake Epstein list that was just the flight logs that we all saw from months ago. And obviously Trump's name wasn't on it and it wasn't the real fucking list. And that was getting a lot of traction. Even right-wing content creators were like, what the fuck, bro? We already had this list. What are we doing? So that's what that was about. But anyway, let's keep on reading. It's inflammatory statements. We already saw that. His comments came a few hours after a meeting in London aimed at bringing about an end to Russia's war in Ukraine had been downgraded after U.S. Secretary of State Marco Rubio said he wouldn't attend. Rubio had been I bet he's on, like, fucking vacation. Rubio had been expected to take part in the discussions with Ukrainian, UK, and European officials, but State Department spokesperson Tammy Bruce said Tuesday that he would no longer attend due to, quote, logistical issues. He's on vacation. The guy's probably, like, in fucking Cancun, like when Ted Cruz ran when the power went out. Though a U.S. official and 2 European diplomats familiar with the matter said the top U.S. diplomat didn't go because the administration did not feel that they were at a decisive point in the ongoing talks, and Rubio didn't feel like attending would be the best use of his time. Well, yeah, that's the thing. Marco Rubio's a war hawk. He's a career politician. He knows this shit. Marco Rubio understands that Russia doesn't give a fuck what the U.S. has to say. They don't give a fuck. Trump keeps on saying, like, Ukraine, you don't have the cards. No. Baby back bitch, you don't have the cards. Donald, you fucking sold Ukraine gave, not you. The United States gave Ukraine hundreds of millions of dollars of weapons to defend against the Russian onslaught. It wasn't enough. All of that money that we sent over there was for nothing. And now that the Russians have the advantage and are taking more and more land, you expect Putin to stop? Why the fuck should he? Why the fuck would he? Right? This is why I support giving Ukraine more fucking weapons to not allow the Russians to keep advancing, to prevent more NATO border countries who are bordering the NATO alliance, to fall into Russian hands, making things easier and easier for Russia to potentially win a World War III style conflict. Call me a NATO Andy. I don't give a fuck. I don't want the United States to withdraw from NATO. Not because I love NATO, but because if NATO's gonna exist, I want to be in it. Is that unpatriotic? I don't know. I don't know. Quote, it was better to let talks play out than create the illusion that a breakthrough was imminent, said one of the European diplomats. Britain's Foreign Office confirmed on Wednesday that the meeting would take place at a lower level. Official level talks will continue, but these are close to the meeting, so it's all just bullshit. The developments throw new uncertainty over the diplomatic efforts to end Russia's war. The United States has become increasingly steadfast in its push to force Kyiv to an agreement, but Ukraine is adamant that it will not give up Crimea, which has been occupied by Russia since 2014, or parts of eastern Ukraine that were captured following Moscow's full assault. Yeah, so I said it earlier. There's like 7 stipulations that the Russians gave, and one of them is like all of this land. It's like it's like Crimea and the Zaporizhia regions and Luhansk and Donetsk. They're like, the Russians are like, hey, we'll only stop murking your shit if you give us these regions that are very naturally, they have a lot of natural gas, coincidentally. Hey, Mr. Bean, what are you doing? Mr. Bean, what are you doing? You want a hug? Oh, he just wants to be pet. But yeah, so that's what we got. I mean, Trump, guys, we shouldn't be surprised. Trump fucking blames Zelenskyy for the fucking invasion. Trump says that it's Zelensky's fault. Trump is a warmongering piece of shit. He wants us to go to war in Greenland. He wants us to go to war in Mexico. He wants us to go to war in Panama. He wants to annex Canada. He wants to conquer Gaza, bro. And now there's fucking rumors that we're going back to Afghanistan to clean up Bagram Air Base because our withdrawal wasn't clean. Motherfucker, we were there for 22 years. I don't give a shit what the withdrawal was like. Why the fuck would we go back? Why? Born too late, born too early to go to the sandbox, born too late to go to the sandbox. Born right on time to go to the fucking sandbox, boys. Better start doing your cardio training. Anyway, I'm going to catch you in the next video. We're moving on to the next topic, which is going to be in the next video, which is all about the stock market having its worst month. This April has been the worst April since 1932. We are headed into the Great Depression 2, Electric Boogaloo. Don't forget to like, comment, subscribe, hit the notification bell. Hit that video right there. Hopefully, if I do everything right, it'll be the next video, all right? Catch you.